yo. Welcome back to the Beardworks podcast for episode 18. Almost hitting 20. It's getting big. What's going on?
Hey, man. What's going on? Yeah, no, it's getting there. Like we say every week, we're grinding away. So continue the workload, I guess, of juggling uni and jobs and all that kind of stuff. But no, it's good fun. It is what it is.
Yeah, we've got one bloke in America that's just like waiting on every episode. He's downloading them each week straight away.
Yeah.
Which state was he from again? If he's listening,
Double check, but
Wisconsin or something.
no, it's let me just have a quick look for you. So he is Michigan. Norton Shores. That was the last one anyway. But yeah, that was like an hour after the episode came out. So shout out to that guy. Thanks for listening to it.
Man. Day one listener.
Yeah, awesome.
But yeah, we'll go on to something else that's good news. Like old mate from Michigan, Bly Manor dropped this week. I know we were both pretty hyped on it because we love Hill House. I finished it in a night. Not very proud of myself. It was a bit of a gross marathon, but yeah, you're only a few episodes in, so we'll just do like a first impressions. We won't do a full review till we've both finished it.
Yeah, well, I think I'm about 6 episodes in now, but I'd rather not do a spoiler talk just yet because obviously it's only pretty fresh. It's only like a week old now, so we might wait another week and we can get Pap in when he finishes it and we can have a chat about it. But overall, it's obviously I feel like it's not as scary as Hill House. In saying that, like Hill House wasn't super scary. Like there's barely any really movies that really super scare me these days. After all the horror movies I've seen in TV shows, I guess, in the past. But yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about it because I don't mind the story. It's interesting, different kind of premise. But the accents are quite funny, obviously, because we've already seen a lot of these characters with American accents from the last of Hill House. I'm just a bit worried. I don't want it to go down the path of what's the other horror TV show? American Horror Story.
Yeah, I was worried about that as well because American Horror Story starts off so good. The first couple seasons, even the third one, is really good.
Yeah.
But then it just gets watered down and gets shitter and shitter each season.
I'm just not sure how I feel about the same actors being cast again as different characters. I feel like, how can I explain this in a better way? So you look at True Detective. Now, True Detective is an independent season every season. So there's been 3 seasons now. And they do get classy actors in to do the roles because people want to be involved in it, I think. Obviously, season 1, you had Woody Harrelson and Matthew McConaughey, who absolutely killed it. Vince Vaughn in the second season with Will Ferrell. That's what he's footballer. Colin Farrell. That's it. And Rachel McAdams and stuff like that. And who else is there? Oh, the other guy, Charlie. No, he's not Charlie. I forget his name, but he's from Battleship. The point is that they cast new characters and good actors as well to take on the roles. The season may not be as good as the previous one. That's sort of like True Detective wise. But yeah, I mean, I just don't know how I feel about it because I don't want them to go down that American Horror Story route where they have the same actors come in and play different characters.
Yeah, I think Bly Manor is pretty good. The actors, they're fine. Some of the accents are a bit jarring because we're just used to the first season. But yeah, overall, I think it's definitely not a horror series like Hill House was. Like this has some creepy moments, but it's not terrifying like Hill House.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree. It's like I said at the start, it's not a super scary kind of show, but it is. I do find the story quite interesting, and now I have got to a bit of the revelations to see what's really going on behind the scenes. And I sort of didn't know. I half called it. I don't know. It's a bit tough. My partner and I have been watching it, and she hates horror movies, and she pushed through it, which is not really horror. Like chapter 1 wasn't that scary.
Jesus.
But then we watched Hill House together, and there was some scary moments, and she was quite afraid. But yeah, she has literally nearly been falling asleep during Bly Manor. So, very interesting. But in saying that, I do enjoy it. I just didn't know what I was expecting because this is what we hate the most, and me and you talk about this all the time, is that these Facebook pages put up saying, "Oh, this is the scariest thing since sliced bread." Even though sliced bread's not scary.
I don't know if it was Uni Lad or Lad Bible or some shit page was posting that Bly Manor's making people not be able to sleep. I just wanted to smash my phone when I read that. I hate those articles. We could do a whole episode just going through shit horror reviews where they say it's the scariest thing or people can't sleep, need therapy. Oh, we every time we see one, we send to each other just as a rev.
Yeah, it is a bit of a joke. I don't understand where they come from with this kind of thing, because it's not horrifyingly scary. Like, it's not that point. Like, there are some jump scares and stuff like that. But the best thing I found about Hill House is that it wasn't the jump scares that were the scary part. It was more the build up of the the atmosphere and kind of things. And I do feel like that's sort of the same area as this. But I find it's more mystery than anything else than horror, if you know what I mean. Where Hill House I felt was more genuine horror with a mystery behind it.
But you got to admit, though, Hill House maybe has the best jump scare in any bit of film ever.
Yeah, well, no,
Easily has the best jump scare ever put to screen.
Yeah, no, for sure. It was, like I said, Hill House was, Hill House is just a good show, and if you haven't seen it, you should go watch it. Obviously, we spoke about it at the start of the podcast, with Pap coming in and watching it, and to get him and his view on this one. I mean, he was saying last night he was sitting there with his blanket over his eyes because he said it was a bit scary. Obviously, it was probably just a bit of a rev, but it's not to that point. The thing is, I am interested to see the outcome of this story. Because so far what I've seen is pretty decent. Like I said, I just not a massive fan of same actors being recast as new characters in the same kind of universe, I guess. But in saying that, I'm really keen to see. Obviously, they'll make a season 3 because I feel like this is one of those shows where they can just keep expanding on it. But I really hope they go full horror next one, maybe.
I don't know. They should do like an asylum or like a hospital or something instead of just one mansion. They should make like a bigger story.
I'll make a lot more of a bigger cast and stuff, I guess. I
Something
mean,
hectic shit. But I guess doing the haunted houses is pretty good. The dude seems like he knows what he's doing with a mansion.
Yeah, I mean, when you think about it, there are some, like, they had the movie's Grave Encounters is based off, I think, a real life asylum, isn't it? But that'd be really cool to see, like, when that was back in its prime, to see like what kind of how it was run and the horror things behind it. Or that'd be a really cool aspect, I guess. Like you said, a hospital, that'd be nice as well. But overall, I'm liking it so far. I'm thinking I'll probably finish it before this weekend, so then we can probably get like I said, get Pap in after he's finished, then we can all have a chat together and compare both Hill House and Bly Manor. But in saying that, I'm just glad we've got more. More is people don't always say that more is better, but in saying when the horror kind of aspect or the thriller and the kind of mystery kind of stuff, I don't think it's such a bad thing. And I think they do have a really good connection with creating these kind of shows. So I'm hoping they just keep pumping them out, we'll see what happens, I guess.
Yeah, speaking of all the stuff that's being pumped out, you sent me the Resident Evil cast.
Yeah, this should be interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
I'm worried.
Yeah, it is interesting because the characters aren't really, the actors aren't really A-list, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the way they, how they are thinking about a bit more of a reboot and seeing where they can go with it. Because obviously the Resident Evil movies have gone a bit ridiculous, unfortunately. Because it takes it away a lot. It just, what we've seen so far in the story of the movies, it's just all over the place. I mean, it's a very straightforward story, like, it's just the end of the world and stuff like that. But one of my Resident Evil 1 and Apocalypse and even Extinction are probably my favorite 3.
The first 2 are definitely Resident Evil movies.
Yeah.
Then from Extinction onwards, they turn into zombie movies. If you know what I mean. Like, they're all zombie movies, but Resident Evil's got like a mystery kind of like mansion city kind of vibe. And then when they go into the desert in Extinction, I feel that's where they lost it. And then after Extinction, who even knows what happened?
It felt like it was a blockbuster film in those, like, 1 and 2, but then the Extinction came out and it was blockbuster. And then was it Afterlife? Oh, I can't remember how many they went.
I've got them all above me sitting on my shelf. Where are they? There's Afterlife, Retribution, and then the final chapter.
Yeah, so the final chapter is a terrible film. Like, that seems like it's just one of those films where they just got a little bit of a budget and they're trying to make it work, and the story's so bland. But I didn't mind Afterlife. Afterlife was okay.
Is that the one where they're stuck in the prison building, like the skyscraper prison thing? And they like, she crashes her plane onto the roof?
Oh, I think that's Extinction, maybe. Oh, I don't know.
Extinction's the desert.
Yeah, I don't know. There's so many.
1 and 2, Resident Evil and Resident Evil Apocalypse are the best ones, easily.
Yeah, but this is the thing. So going back to the reboot, what we're talking about is that the director really wants to take it back to the first 2 games and recreate a terrifying, visceral experience when he first played them. And that's his quote. So that'll be really cool to see what he does with that. So hopefully it is a bit more of a horror. Obviously Resident Evil is meant to be is a horror game with action, you know. Obviously they, as the games went on, they went a bit more crazy, and now they went back with Resident Evil 7, which was good.
The Resident Evil 7 is something special.
Yeah, and then obviously look with the Village coming out next year, we should see something really good with that. So I think this guy who's in control of this this film, he might have the right concept in his head to sort of take it to a different kind of way. I'm hoping anyway. And obviously they've talked about the cast, and you've said that you're not a big fan of Leon's cast.
He's meant to be American, and they're making him, I don't know what nationality the guy is, Indian, Pakistani or something. Like, I don't know, that feels like they're changing the role just to give him that actor a shot. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, the thing is, these day and age is that they do like changing the characters up and their background and, you know, their culture kind of thing, which is okay. I can understand. But you know, we'll wait and see. It's just when I think the hardest part is when we see characters how they're portrayed in the TV shows or the movies or the games. We keep thinking, okay, that's what they always have to look like. So I can understand your point of view. I understand the company's point of view who want to, you know, be a bit more diverse, which is fine. We'll see how it turns out, I guess. But yeah, like there's no massive A-list actors, which I think is probably a good thing because then they don't have much pull power. Because I find that there's some films where, you know, you may have The Rock, and The Rock can call a lot of shots. So he likes to change the bits and pieces and make it how he likes it. So not saying he does that with every film he's in, but I'm sure that's the case. I've seen some articles and read some stuff about it. So having guys that aren't A-list that can sort of like just maybe listen to the director and see exactly and see his vision, not so much how I want my character to be portrayed. So I'm really keen to see what they do with it because there are some really good films that haven't got A-list actors in it that just have a good director. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hope this movie gets like the Witcher treatment, like Netflix got, because the car, like Henry Cavill and the director, they both played the video game and read the books, so they're like fans of the series. They want to do it justice. So I hope you said this director played the
first two games,
played the game. So hopefully he's got a bit of passion for it and he stays true to the source material. But saying that, he's, I don't know, a bit of a mixed bag of the cast.
Yeah, no, I guess we'll just wait and see. And I mean, yeah, I don't know. Like if they can really go back to the roots of the horror kind of aspect of Resident Evil, will be really cool. And especially in that first film, you know, that'll be really interesting to see what they do there. I'm just hoping it's not like a full blown action movie again. I'm hoping there's action in there, of course, because it's a Resident Evil game, but like to a point where it's more survival horror and not so much we need to wipe out everything kind of, you know, action. But yeah,
he said he's going back to the Spencer Mansion and Raccoon City, which is the first two games.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's a bit more of like the creeping around rooms, figuring out the puzzle, trying to escape the building. Like,
yeah,
I reckon that'd be really interesting. It'd be a slower paced movie, but it wouldn't be like Predator in a city, just like unleashing every gun you've got.
Yeah.
So I hope it's a bit more survival.
But yeah, so moving on from Resident Evil, I think we'll just talk about some stuff that's come out this week. So much like just a bit of news, bits and pieces, that we could just, you know, talk about it and little tidbits about it. So first thing I want to talk about is there has been Xbox Series X's slowly finding their way to warehouses. This was reported by IGN. But the funny thing is I found out that they got Halo Infinite on the box when Halo's not really going to be in, you know, the launch window.
I was just going to say that. Did you see that Chief was on the side of the box?
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's very obviously they must have had the packaging starting being like put together before they delayed Halo, because obviously there's got so many units to sell. So they've obviously just chucked Chief on there because I mean, when you think of Xbox or Microsoft, you think of, you know, Halo. So that's fair enough. But yeah, it's a bit of a downer that, you know, Master Chief's not going to be in that game window unless you play off the old games. So bit of a downer there by Xbox. But
I watched Alana Pierce's video because she's got a Series X already. Her going through the dashboard and opening some games and stuff. The dashboard is so similar to the Xbox we have now. It's a joke.
I guess
there's nothing different.
I'm guessing they're just trying to make it like the ecosystem like relatively the same because, yeah, I don't know. I mean, sometimes too much changes too much. I really hope PlayStation changed theirs up though.
You got to change it up, man. It's a new generation. You want something fresh. You don't be looking at the same dashboard for another 6 years.
Yeah. Well, speaking of PlayStation, obviously, as I said, like I hope they update their system, like their interface, and even their party chat. Like I find that I've been playing PlayStation recently, and the party chat feature and opening up and accepting invites, it's not as easy as Xbox where you just hold the button down and it takes you through. You have to actually go find the invite or click on it and then press accept inside the thing. It's just a bit of a frustration I find. I'm hoping they really have to update it, the PlayStation 5, sorry. But speaking of the PlayStation 5, this was a really cool stat. That the PS5 is more than 80% of the next-gen pre-orders.
Yeah, that's a joke, and I believe every word of it.
That's crazy to think that, 80% of the next-gen pre-orders are all coming from PlayStation or PS5. Obviously, we got the 2 editions, same with Xbox, but it just shows you that maybe people have lost faith in Xbox or Microsoft, sorry, which we spoke about.
You look at our group, we're all been Xbox for years and years now, for generations of consoles, and we all jump ship.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I'm just really hoping that this user, I don't know, I'm not used to the ecosystem on PlayStation, like the way you use it. I mean, obviously I've been playing games on it for years, but in party chat and all that kind of stuff and the invites, like that stuff sort of bothers me considering that Xbox is so fluid. So I'm hoping it happens.
Yeah, I did see, I'm just trying to find the photo I took on my phone. Apparently there's been an update in the last couple days for PlayStation parties. They've changed something. So I reckon they're gearing up to have a transition period on the PS5 to make it a bit nicer for everyone.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, there wasn't an update that came out today, which I've just done on mine. I think that's gearing up for this weekend. I'm not sure. Well, I don't think it's this weekend, but I think there was something to do about an update. But then this is a good transition into obviously Ghost of Tsushima's multiplayer releases this weekend.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to buy another bloody PSN membership for a month.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get on it.
Yeah, because I definitely want to play that, man. I'm so keen for the 2-player story and then the raid.
Well, that's the thing. I'm really interested to see, because obviously they said there's going to be co-op survival. This is like when they first released Legends. It's like the trailer for Legends. They said there's going to be a co-op mission, sorry, and then there's also going to be 4-player survival. And I was like, okay, that's awesome.
Well, I say raid, I mean survival. That's what I mean.
Yeah. Oh no, that's the thing. There is a raid on top of that. So
shit.
So there's like 2 game modes, and then apparently in a few weeks' time, once people level up their characters on survival or co-op, whatever you choose to do, they're releasing a raid. I'm pretty sure that's the case, and yeah, that's crazy. Like, I did not think that Ghost of Tsushima would go this path whatsoever, but I am super excited. It's like one of the best like hidden presents I've ever had.
Yeah, I was surprised this was going to be free because this looks like a big DLC drop. The amount of work that's gone even into the costumes we saw in that trailer, like this looks like it should be paid.
Well, there was one of the scenes that showed, like, they talked about when the raid's releasing and had the 4 characters walking up, and each one of them had like a glow on their sword that was different colored. I was like, okay, this looks interesting. So I'm just really keen to see what they do. I mean, Ghost of Tsushima was an amazing game, and we loved the death of it, and I'm just so keen to play it. And continuing with Ghost of Tsushima, they've talked about that on your PS4 save will be transferable into your PS5. Yeah, so you don't have to go through and play the story again.
If my save wasn't going to transfer, that was going to be it. I was never going to play Ghost again.
And it's going to be on 60 frames per second. So that's awesome on PS5. So I'm really keen for that now, because I was really worried that I'd have to start up and finish the game again to get all the unlockables. But now you can just transfer your data, and because I haven't touched it since I finished the main story and done a bit of the side and finished off like majority of the side stuff, but I still have to do probably there's still the ones you have to do around Tsushima, and then obviously I've got that warrior monk that wasn't very interesting, I found.
It was the shittest story.
So I have to go back and do that, which is heaps cool that I can go back and do it on my PS5. I don't have to go back through the whole story. In saying that, I mean, I love the story, and there's new game plus out. So, but yeah, overall,
it might actually be difficult now.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, Ghost of Tsushima multiplayer this weekend. So keen for that, just to see what they do, because the world is so awesome and rich. I'm really keen to see what they can do with that.
I'm so excited to actually read full character breakdowns and profiles of the 4 legendary heroes that we have to choose from, because I reckon we should all be a different one, so we cover all bases.
Oh yeah, for sure. And they've talked about that you have got so much vanity gear for that too. Like, I like the idea that I like the Ronin. That was my kind of get up in the first part of the game. So I wouldn't mind.
Demon. I'm going to dress up like a demon.
Well, obviously you've got the 4 classes, so it'll be really interesting to see what happens. And I'm just keen. Like, I can't stress it enough. Like, to think that all these games have come out. Obviously me and the boys, a few of us, been playing FIFA recently, which is the same stuff every year. It's just addictive at the start, and then you sort of realize that you're wasting your time. So to have Ghost come out this weekend is just a good refreshing to get away from it for a while. But yeah, so there's a few more things I'd like to move on to, and that's obviously with the new release that they're talking about the Spider-Man 3 film, and we spoke about it last week about what they were going to be doing with Electro and kind of stuff like that. But it's now confirmed that Benedict Cumberbatch will be joining Tom Holland in Spider-Man 3. So,
yeah, and his next movie's called The Multiverse of Madness. So are they just like spoiling it for us? Obviously,
well,
the multiverse is coming.
I think so. This is what was meant to happen was that it was meant to be Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, then Spider-Man 3. But then with the delays, what's happened? They've actually had to bring Spider-Man 3 in front of Doctor Strange 2. So
Yep.
I believe that's the case anyway. I haven't watched the video for a little while now, but what I think they're going to do is they're bringing in Benedict Cumberbatch in Spider-Man 3, and then Spider-Man will be part of. He'll be a cameo or a character in Multiverse of Madness, because in Tom Holland's contract he had two more. I think it was one or two more. I think when he signed the new one, it was like one more Spider-Man film and one more Marvel film. That was the new current contract that goes through to like 2023. So then obviously they'll redo a new one for him for like Avengers and Spider-Man 4 and 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really awesome, because I loved, obviously we've lost Tony Stark now, so we don't know who that's going to be, that leader for, or that teacher, even though, you know,
And Cap's gone.
yeah, and Cap's gone. But like as in Tom Holland's sort of like mentor. And I think Doctor Strange would be good for him, because obviously they had that little chat on the spaceship in, not Endgame, Infinity War, sorry. So they have that bit of history there, not much. And obviously they had the battle against Thanos on Titan. So that'd be really cool to see what they do from there. I'm really hoping, because who do you think is going to be the leader? Now, unfortunately, that Chadwick Boseman's passed away, and Black Panther, they're sort of like up in the air what they're going to do. Who do you reckon is going to be the new leader? Like, because Thor is one of those.
Thor will never be a leader. He's just going to be a powerhouse off the side.
Yeah,
it's going to be Captain Marvel, Doctor Strange. It'll be someone like that.
I'm hoping it's Doctor Strange. Obviously, Captain Marvel's copped a bit of flack from her film and obviously her off-screen and stuff. People aren't a big fan of her, so I'm not sure if they're going to put her there, or she might just be like the powerhouse too. I wouldn't mind seeing Thor lead like a charge. That'd be kind of cool. Sort of like realizing that the big three are gone. You know, you've lost Iron Man and Captain America now, so he's the one of the remaining three. But I'd really like to see Doctor Strange take the reins and become the leader of the Avengers for a little bit. But then again, he's got so much more other stuff on his plate. Like, he's not, a full-time Avenger, if you know what I mean.
I think that would be a good transition for Thor, though, because he's been one of the leaders. Like, he's in the big three. But I reckon after Infinity War and Endgame, it's sobered him up a bit. He's a bit mature now. He's a bit hardened.
Well, Infinity War found that he was really, like, obviously from Thor Ragnarok, he seemed like, obviously when you're your own feature character in your film, like Thor 1, 2, and 3, you are like the leader. But then when the big films came together, he was like always, the powerhouse. But I found in Thor Ragnarok towards the end, he like started to lead the people of Asgard. That's what he wanted to do. And then obviously, Infinity War happened, and he just wanted to get Thanos, but he took charge of most things. He's like, I'm going to get Stormbreaker made and stuff like that, and come back and save the day to a certain extent. So that was really cool. So I want to see that. And obviously with Thor 4, was it Love and Thunder?
Yeah, it's where the girls come.
They bring in Kira. Is it Kira Knight? No,
it's
Kira Knight.
It's Natalie Portman, but I can't remember what her name is in
yeah. So yeah, she becomes female Thor or something like that in that kind of story. But it became, is going to be Fat Thor again, or is it going to be like Lean Thor? We don't know.
Well, I saw a photo on Chris Hemsworth's like Instagram or Twitter or something yesterday on his island, and he is more shredded than ever. He's definitely shredding for Thor.
Well, hopefully that'd be really cool. I mean, otherwise I'll just put a fat suit on him again. But no, either way, I'm really keen to see what they do with that, because obviously Thor, I've always loved Thor. Thor Ragnarok was one of the best films. The way they put that together. But yeah, I'm really keen to see what they do. Obviously, like I said, Avengers wise, who's going to be the new leader? I think Spider-Man will be the prodigy. Coming through the ranks. He'll be eventually some kind of leader. But how long do they keep going for? How long until Tom Holland gets, enough of the Spider-Man universe and he wants to move on to something else? You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, he's got another franchise kicking off. He's got Uncharted. That's probably going to go for a few years if it's popular.
That'll be really interesting, because I think obviously people sort of talked about him being a young Nathan Drake. Because obviously, how young is he in the first? I mean, I haven't played the first game. You've only played the third one, haven't you? So I'm not sure how that works. Probably should have more research on it. But either way, yeah, it'd be really interesting because obviously there were people kicking up a stink saying that he looks a bit too young to be Nathan Drake. But if there is like maybe the first game's not based on the first so the first film's not based on the first game, it's like a prequel, and then as he gets older, he can move into the role himself. Sort of like how I really wanted Chris Pratt to play Indiana Jones. I don't know, because apparently there was something that came out last year that Harrison Ford was going to return for one more Indiana Jones film, but he's like what, late 60s and his 70s.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be, I don't know, because even Crystal Skull was a bit. How you going?
Yeah, that was definitely on the back end of it. I think he was in his 60s then. He must be in his 70s. He's getting old, obviously. We've seen that in the Star Wars film, but you can make that work there. But whereas, I guess with CGI and other things, you can make it work with just their face and have somebody else motion capture. I don't know how they're going to do that, but it does take it away from a bit when you know the actor's not really doing those roles. Not so much the stunts, but they're not as active as they once were. So I think really Chris Pratt would have been a really good Indiana Jones, maybe. But I think that Harrison Ford's too afraid to give up the role.
Yeah, I wouldn't care if they left Indiana Jones in the dirt, man. He's had his time. Get something new.
But yeah, just before we finish, I want to speak about something like, and I know you made this comment a while ago, is that you have a mate that's he thinks the Harry Potter universe is better than the Star Wars one.
Oh yeah,
Harry Potter is so awesome. Like,
okay, that's been Beardworks podcast episode 18.
no. Like, seriously, hear me out.
So yeah, he always revs my mate because he knows I love Star Wars, and he always just gives me shit that he likes Harry Potter better.
Nah, but I was at work, and some of the girls that are diehard, one of the girls definitely is a diehard Harry Potter fan, and so she told me a bit about the lore, and obviously I'd seen all the original films, but I haven't seen the Fantastic Beasts films. So,
they're shit.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, I went back and watched both of them in one day. I didn't mind them because it just sort of expanded on the universe, because obviously we only saw really Hogwarts and Hogwarts and other things in the movies. So really, it was really cool to see the different parts of the world of Fantastic Beasts. So I was thinking, geez, this has really got me hyped for the Harry Potter game. I know you're not keen on it, but
I'll play it. But because I like Harry Potter, I've seen all of them with my mum a million times, because my mum, she loves Harry Potter. Like, she cried for like a day when Snape died in real life because she loves Snape.
the actor, yeah.
So yeah, me and my mum, as I was growing up, we watched Harry Potter all the time. I like it, but you're not comparing it to Star Wars.
I'm not comparing. I'm just saying Harry Potter is probably better.
What?
I'm kidding.
Okay, Beardworks podcast. We're probably never going to hit episode 20. This is it.
No. This is definitely cool. I do like. Obviously, the universes are completely different. I don't think you can compare them. Star Wars has like a massive, just whole nother universe. So they're both equal in their own right with their expanded universe and stuff like that. Obviously, Harry Potter's is not as big.
Nowhere near as big.
No, of course not. But I'm just really keen to see what happens, because I found that, like I said in the past, about Harry Potter's sort of like story over the movies, and I didn't really know much. I hadn't read all the books and stuff like that, so I found a bit more of the lore and did some more research, and I found out why and how all this stuff came to it all in the end. And I'm just really keen to see the wind up of Fantastic Beasts, like the Grindelwald and Dumbledore battle was meant to be one of the greatest battles of all times, and the Wizarding world.
Boyfriends or something?
Well, that's the thing. J.K. Rowling's come out and said that that Dumbledore had a crush on Grindelwald or something like that.
Because you've seen both of them, obviously. There's definitely like a sexual vibe between them.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to push it out to be. But
yeah, I don't think Harry Potter needs that. I don't think a kids' movie needs like.
I don't know. I don't think it needs to be explored that deeply. It could have just said they were close friends and they, so and so. But
it's a kids' movie in reality. I don't think. Yeah.
It's not rated R or MA, so I can understand. And people love the Harry Potter lore. So yeah, I don't know if that really needs. I mean, it's not up to us to put it in there, but it just definitely, they don't need to expand on it more. They can just say something. But I'm really keen to see that battle. That would be really cool. Obviously, I just. I wanted to see more of a ruthless magic, kind of Harry Potter world kind of thing, which obviously we saw bits and pieces in the films, and then obviously the Fantastic Beasts films weren't too bad. But I'm really keen to see where they take it, because obviously it's starting to really kick off now. I only thought there was going to be 2 films, and then I did a bit more research and work out there's like 5 films slated, and that the next one.
Fantastic Beasts?
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's my problem with Fantastic Beasts. They're missing the hype. When the first one came out, everyone freaked out. But they're taking too long between them.
Well,
I think lose the hype.
I think the third one comes out next year, but I just really want to see something cool. I mean, I love the idea of the Order of the Phoenix, like obviously like Dumbledore's army, but then like you read the backstory and there's so many cool battles, but then what we see in the movies obviously is past that first war that happened, and so you don't see much. You see the Order of the Phoenix in the films a little bit, but they're nowhere near what they used to be, and I really want to see that kind of ruthless, battle that they used to have in the
I
in the
don't think
books.
in Fantastic Beasts we're ever going to see the Order
Oh
because the
no,
Order was created for Voldemort to fight him.
yeah. So that's what I mean. Like, I wish we had that kind of story, and I wish I saw more of Dumbledore. Like, I love Jude Law. I think he's an absolutely amazing actor. Just yeah, I remember there's the scene from was it Pineapple Express when they talk about coming back to life. It's like, yeah, you come back as like Jude Law. It's like, that'd be awesome.
That would be dope.
But yeah. Anyways, that's it pretty much from that part of the thing. But there's one more thing I think we can move on to, and that's obviously recently Robert Downey Jr. has come out and said that he wants to create like a Sherlock Holmes kind of universe with his 2 movies that he's got so far.
Yeah, he's
which I
getting
think,
the Fantastic Beast treatment. He's taken too long between them.
yeah, well, that's true.
You got to act fast.
Well, actually, when you think about it, he had like obviously that build up of Marvel movies, and then he had the Sherlock Holmes 1 and 2 in there. But then he was just obviously being like saturated in the Marvel movies, so he can't obviously commit to other things. So to see that he obviously really likes to have Sherlock Holmes character that he plays, so he's really keen to push on that. So, yeah, I'm really keen to see what they do there because I like 1 and 2. I think they're good movies.
He's just in damage control because Doolittle was shit. He needs a new franchise.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that was a bit of a letdown. But no, I'm really keen to see what they do. I've always liked that. And like I said, I love Jude Law, so I want to see how he goes in that. But yeah, I mean, I think that's about it, really. We've talked about a few different things today, different kind of chat.
Yeah. Wrapping up, though, I reckon Harry Potter, I reckon the game will be alright if they can actually make it fun and make the spell battles interesting. Because I've played the old movie tie-in games, and just using the spells is shit.
Yeah, they have to make it very versatile. Like, you can learn, because apparently like the whole story is that you've got ancient magic. So that'd be really cool, that aspect. And hopefully you learn different things and you can use different spells, not so much the linear ones. And the open world would be really cool. So just really keen for it, really. Just more of that kind of world would be awesome. And I'm hoping that you get put, like, if you do character traits and stuff like that at the start of the game when you're customizing your character, that's what sort of selects you towards what house you go to. Like when you do your own, like, might ask you what you are like in real life, you're humble, or if you're like an aggressive kind of person or something like that, maybe you might put on Slytherin or something like that.
Imagine if Quidditch was like FIFA. Imagine
God.
I've got to buy Quidditch packs. Oh, wicked, got like one to watch Cedric Diggory. Like,
That's a good one. Oh, jeez. But anyways, I think that wraps up this episode. We've obviously talked about Bly Manor. Definitely need to finish that so we can talk about that. We'll get Pap on for sure. He's keen. So yeah, that's about it from me, I reckon.
We'll have to do a Harry Potter chat, I reckon, as well.
Yeah,
talk
for
about
sure.
Our favorite one of the series.
Yeah, no, we'll bring that in, and then we'll do a Star Wars one and talk about how shit the new ones are.
So yeah.
See you guys. Take care. Make sure you do all the usuals. Subscribe to us on YouTube and listen to us on whatever you listen to. Just get involved, and please follow us on Twitter. It would be nice to have more people looking at it, and we might be able to do some more interactive stuff. So cheers.
Peace out.